this Carolina Panthers offense? I mean, obviously we know about the receivers, but just how they're able to sort of execute down and down.
Yeah. Obviously the receivers, talented group. The quarterback just, I think, got better and better over the last 2 years and really has done a great job. Very impressed with him. And, the running game. The running game has been really, really productive for them. But just overall, a really good group.
What makes Chuba Hubbard sort of a running back that's tough to take down?
Yeah, I think just what you said. Tough to get on the ground. Physical, always finishing runs. That definitely jumps out. When you look at him, you're like, man, this dude is a finisher. And that pops through the tape. But, even in protection, the run game, I think he's done a really good job. And, he gets the tough yards.
Week 1, how much is there left for you to learn about your defense? This is going to be their first, full 4 quarters game action.
I think there's always, in my experience, there's always a lot to learn. Throughout the course of the season, you really figure out who you are, what you really do well, and who does what well. And I think most NFL coaches would tell you as the season progresses, you're continually learning and evaluating. But we like what we've learned at this point, just looking back at it in retrospect from the spring till now. The guys have done a really good job. So, but always learning and evaluating these guys for sure.
A couple of big physical receivers for Carolina. What sort of challenges do they give a defense?
Yeah, I just think those guys are pretty impressive, the 50-50 balls. That's something that they definitely present a challenge there. Big physical guys after the catch. So, you got to be on your P's and Q's when it comes to that, and finishing and not giving up yak because they've done a good job generating that. And the quarterback is really timely with the ball and an accurate thrower.
Saunders got here late by camp standards. What's been the challenge for him to pick up what you're doing?
Just, the volume of stuff, but he's done a great job with that. He's done a ton extra, with some of our defensive line coaches. They've really done a good job getting him acclimated and teaching him the system. And he has some great fundamentals and a really good background in a lot of the stuff that we do. So that's obviously what was attractive about him, coming here and excited about him. And he's proven all that to be true. He's shown up and practiced really well every day. You see that stuff showing up.
With Eric and Mason missing so much time early on, are you feeling like they're ready to get it going in week 1?
Yeah, they, even in the joint practice down in Miami, I felt like they were chomping at the bit, and they've just been really excited. And you guys, you probably gotten to see them in individual and stuff, and they're going. I mean, they're practicing their ass off. So, been fun to watch them, and they've really been locked in the meetings, and I'm excited to get them going too.
Is the attitude where you want it to be for this defense?
Yeah, it is. We got a bunch of guys. We're hard-charging guys. Just the preparation is, when you walk in here every day, you got to have the same energy. You got to be the same guy every day. And we want them to prepare like maniacs. We want them to practice like a maniac. We want you to play like a maniac. So running the ball, get all blocks. And, there's one standard here. And I think they've adapted, in a lot of ways. And they've kind of taken that as their own and run with it. And the best teams are player-led. And I think we have a lot of great player leadership when it comes to that, just play style. Yeah.
You get a sense that some of the guys that were here last year still have a bad taste in their mouth for how that looked and want to go out there and put a good showing as a group?
I don't really know about that. What I would say is I just feel like they've been really passionate about how they go about their work every day. Just the practice style every day, and allowing us as coaches to challenge them and take them to places where, that they might not be able to take themselves every day. But they've been really, really good about that, and we've been grinding them in practice. So, by by all standards, so I'm impressed with that.
BJ and Danny making the rosters, undrafted rookies. How much of that back and forth competition between the both of them kind of helped make each better?
Yeah, I think it definitely helped them. They're both competitive guys, competitive young guys. They train that way. I think before they got here, they usually get a sense of that from younger players when they walk in the building. And I mean that all the way down to special teams, and trying to do everything right all the time. And they have the right makeup. They have the right makeup and they approach things that way. But, iron sharpens iron, and I think they were competing with each other the whole way through, fighting for a spot, and they both made it, and are honestly very happy with what they've done to this point, both of those guys.
James compared the defensive end room to kind of like building a basketball lineup. How much versatility do you have just between guys who go inside, outside, young guys?
I think that's a good point, but I think throughout the front there is that in the linebacker room, you know. So, but I'm kind of used to that. That's what we always did everywhere else I was. And I said this early on when you guys were asking about just systems and football. The more you can do, the more you can do, you know. So. Just having guys that have versatility to their game gives you a chance to do different things with them and you know, get into different structures and different groupings. So that's kind of how we built it. And James really did an unbelievable job going out and getting guys and bringing guys in this building that exemplify that.
Something people always say about Liam is he's a great communicator. From your end, what makes him such a good communicator?
He's a real guy. Like, he's a hard guy not to like. You know what I mean? Like, he's very, very human, but he's really been great with being demanding of the players, and I don't ever see him as demeaning. I just think his standard is really, really high for all of them, and it's high for the coaches in here. So that's been great. But you know, knowing him over the years, he's the same guy he's always been. He's competitive as hell. You know, loves football. Loves the guys he coaches, and you know, he approaches it like that every day. You know, so which is awesome. That's part of the reason why he is a great communicator. It's very genuine. It's real.
You have any nerves going into the first regular season game as a DC?
I'm just fired up, man. I'm excited. You know, excited for these guys. I'm kind of living that world, but yeah, I'm just fired up. I'm fired up for them, for the players, and just ready to get going. You know.
With Travis Hunter having experience against Tetero McMillan, is that something y'all have leaned on at all as a defense?
Yeah, I mean, there's so many variables in every game week. So you know, how those matchups shake out and all that. I mean, that's, you know, there's a lot to that. But yeah, we just try and rely as much on the tape, you know, the evaluation of the players and what you see, you know, and what they do, as much as we can.
Just specifically to Travis playing corner, how much growth did you see from him from when you guys got him in the offseason to, you know, getting up to week 1?
Yeah, a lot. I mean, I think he was well coached in college, but I think he's made a really big jump, a big progression from where he started at to where he is now. And it's, you know, continuing to evolve and doing a good job. He's doing the extra, like I talk to whenever you guys ask, trying to tell you that, you know, he's doing extra, pulling double duty. So really impressed with that. And it's all from hard work. So it's great to see.
Working so much as a receiver, can that help him at corner some, just kind of knowing route combinations, some techniques?
For sure. I think that happens. There's just so much carryover, you know what I mean? There's so much you learn. He's got an unbelievable receiver coach there, you know, a guy who's a great player, knows a ton of football, has been a great coach for a long time, and there's no way that can't help you. You know, you're with him, you're with Ron Milas, you're with guys who are lifers in this league, and there's so much information for him every day, you know, at his fingertips from two great coaches every day, and he definitely benefits from that on both ends of the field.
On offense, primarily first to start him out, just to get him to learn that wide receiver role. So where is he taking the most strides at that position, and how confident are you guys going into week 1 with him?
I think for any rookie, usually the most strides is going to be mentally, learning a new system, whether it's coming from a spread system in college or a pro system in college. There's a lot to learn. So probably I should say that for rookies or a new player, a free agent signing, those strides are always going to be biggest mentally. It's tough for a guy to show what he can do and show all his physical capabilities when he's still trying to think about where am I lining up, what am I doing, what's my job. So just his ability to go out there and line up and play fast, I think shows with his technique and some of the different things you see as a receiver.
Have you been surprised, maybe since he is a rookie, that he's been able to catch on quickly? I saw on the hunt, you were telling him, you know, you already know this play and we haven't even installed it. Is that something that's unique that you've seen from him?
I think it's certainly a testament to his work ethic, his commitment to putting in extra time and effort, wanting to meet with coaches extra, do those little one-offs that you guys see and talk about in special teams, and being so eager to learn and improve. I think, like I said, it's a real testament to his growth mindset and all the work and focus that he puts in.
How much is there, I guess, the difference between the practice field and the game field for a guy like Trevor? Where you've seen him practice the offense, you've done it in the classroom, but now you got to go out there and do it in the game.
It's certainly different, and it's always going to be different just because of the pace of the games. You have the adrenaline going. Guys are moving a little bit faster, where in practice, if they're going 98%, they're going 100% in the game. So there's always a little difference in the speed, and sometimes that can be hard to adjust depending on the guy to throw to a receiver going full speed, or throw against defensive backs breaking on balls full speed. And then you add the element of now you can get hit, where we're protecting guys in practice a little bit, controlling some of the variables, and trying to get certain looks or certain things manufactured. So there's more unknowns mentally, and then the added aspect of the physicality of it. Now it's real live flying bullets around you. So it's always a little bit different, but we try to get it as close to a game-like situation as possible in practice.
Liam said him and James have been fans of Tim Patrick for a long time. Just being around him for a few weeks now, what are your thoughts on him?
He's been awesome to have here. Really, his diligence and his conscientious work ethic, from learning the playbook or out there at practice, trying to take every rep, being a real pro about going about his business. And I've talked about it for a couple of the guys, how hard it is to kind of come in and learn the system on your own. You're behind. Everyone else got the install from the ground up. So they got to learn the system being put in from scratch and learn all the rules, all the whys, the ins and outs of why things are structured the way they're structured. So it's kind of like learning a language without learning the first words or the alphabet first. So it's been awesome to see him go in there and be able to do it and try to do some of that stuff on his own. And really the guy he's been with the guys or with the coaches and just embracing whatever we've asked him to do has been a lot of fun.
It's a young receiver room. Is there value in those guys just watching him, seeing how he goes about his work, practice habits, all that?
Absolutely. I think all of us, whether it's players or coaches, are all trying to learn from each other. So it's great to have a guy like that around that young receiver room. And I think all in all, those guys have all been a positive influence on each other, with each guy pushing each other to be better and better. You know, it's not just the young guys versus the old guys. It's the young guys pushing the old guys as well to practice hard and try to outdo them, and then the old guys trying to outdo the young guys. So it's a great room of guys all pushing each other and learning from each other.
How do you feel about how the offensive lines come together?
I feel good about it. I like those guys. Like we've talked about, the depth of that room has been awesome to see. We have the flexibility of guys being able to play different positions, inside, outside, left, and right, which is nice to have. Different guys can snap. Different guys can play guard, play tackle. And then they've done a great job of kind of coming together and learning to work together, which is always a big thing in the offensive line. Because as much as there's one-on-ones at times, a lot of it is dependent on the communication. How are you setting? How are you blocking? What call are you making here? So there's so much communication with those guys where even though it looks like a one-on-one or it ends up being a one-on-one at the end of the play, so much of that is dictated by what they did pre-snap or what they did with their footwork to create that one-on-one, or what's the call, what's the combination. So it's been fun to see those guys come closer together as a unit.
Just how important has Hainsey been to that? I mean, that voice, the leadership that he brings.
He's been awesome. Not just for that unit, I would say really for the whole offense. He's been an absolute joy to be around with his work ethic, his approach, his mentality, all those things that Coach Cohen talks about with the culture that we're trying to build here. He really embraces that and is kind of carrying the flag for that for us in the offensive O-line room and the offensive unit room, really pushing us, players, coaches, everyone included, to kind of embody that every day.
Calling plays in Miami. Just what was that experience like for you?
It was good. It was a good experience, a worthwhile experience. Obviously, would love a better result in it, but I appreciate the guys and their work ethic. Going out there in a challenging situation where some guys who really didn't get a lot of reps in training camp probably had not run some of those plays before full speed, and then going out there and doing it against the one defense in Miami. I love the way those guys competed and really appreciate the work they put in to prepare when they didn't have opportunities in practice. They didn't have opportunities in the joint practice to go out there and play full speed or even play together. I mean, you're going out there with a center who basically got there the day before the trip, and those guys didn't complain about it once. So I loved the way they attacked it and really appreciate the way they played, the style they played.
As an assistant with Liam, but what does it mean just that he wants you guys to do new things and to grow?
I think it's great. I think that kind of is almost intoxicating. It's contagious throughout the entire culture for the players and coaches that we want to try to find edges and push the boundaries and find the best way possible to do things. So whether it's plays or whether it's the way we're meeting, whether it's the way we're walking through, whatever it may be, it's awesome to have that opportunity to really try to push yourself and be open to finding what's best for the team.
You look at the Panthers' defense, Ajero Evero, he's been there a couple years now. Do y'all lean on what Liam was able to do last year in Tampa, coaching it against that team, and what type of challenges do they present?
I think you try to incorporate a little bit of everything. It starts with kind of that understanding of who we are and what we want to do, which might be a little bit different than what was in Tampa Bay or what any of us were in previous stops. But there are certainly principles of the offense that will carry over no matter where you're at or who's out there, which starting 11 or which personnel is out there. So there are certainly principles to that. In terms of the challenges that they pose, we don't know exactly what they're going to be, and they could have changed things, but the structure overall will be probably fairly similar. So when you go out there and you attack that defense, you're trying to kind of find new ways of attacking similar things, or find new ways of presenting the old things you've done before. You know, it's a mix of new stuff that we never done before, a mix of old stuff that we've done before differently. So you're trying to combine a whole bunch of different things, but it's really trying to take a holistic perspective of what's the best way to attack the defense.
When you look at your running backs, how much growth have you seen from them from, I guess, the start until now, getting comfortable with the offensive roles you're asking them to do?
I think the growth for each guy has probably been different because each guy had different things that they want to improve, but it's noticeable for each guy and their attack, their ability to attack what they're trying to improve on. So if one guy might focus one day or 1 week on pass protection and some of those different things, one guy's trying to focus on his tempo on a certain run scheme. I think those guys, it kind of comes in pieces where it's not linear progression for those guys, all moving in the same direction, but you see each of those stack that progression day by day in those little areas. And overall, as a group, I think it's come together fairly nicely. Good. Thank you, guys. Appreciate you guys.